he has moved over to demonizing immigrants, even legal ones like the Haitians, or taking the numbers that we were talking about on Friday, the number of, quote unquote, convicted murderers, rapists, et cetera, and saying this is all Biden and Harris's fault. And to the extent, to speak to its inaccuracy, the Department of Homeland Security had to release a statement saying that the ICE figures were being completely misinterpreted, saying the data includes individuals who entered the country over the past 40 years and also includes people that are in jail, not people who are out there roaming the streets. And that's obviously a key piece of information in this puzzle. And the American public is smart enough to know that the narrative that Donald Trump is putting forward does not accurately represent what's going on. It doesn't mean there aren't problems, but it does mean that they want more nuance than they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, get them out.
I couldn't find the counter numbers to what ICE had released, and I definitely looked for them. It doesn't
matter. The numbers are...
It does.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
Because on Friday, when we talked about this, the idea was that this was a Biden-Harris problem. No one said, except for me, I think, that this covers the entire timeline.
No,
that someone who entered
I said it correlates with the...
It's no surprise that Trump's MAGA campaign took ISIS crime numbers on undocumented people and bastardized them to claim that it all happened under the current administration. Greg Gutfeld and Trump's running mate approve of these lies.
These bastards were more offended by stories of cats being eaten than real stories reported here of actual rape and murder. And if you ask why those other stories existed, it was the only way to get these a-holes in the media to even look at this story.
The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to, create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast.
Sir, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you created. So the eating dogs and cats thing is not accurate. Dana, it comes from firsthand accounts from my constituents. I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it. I didn't create 20,000 illegal migrants coming into Springfield.
As soon as one lie is exposed, they dive right into another. They admit to making up stories to scare people, but then when they finally admit that they lied, its purpose is to advance another lie. These folks in Springfield, Ohio are there on a legal basis, but in order to scare people, it has to be illegal and directly connected to their opponents.
Every day, Kamala is using migrant flights and her phone app. Think of this, they're using a phone app where the migrants are allowed to phone them in so they find out, but it's really, who really uses it? The cartels use it. The cartels use it because they pay off everybody. Our crooked people, they pay them off. They have a phone app. Where's the best place to drop the people? But they want to flood up Pennsylvania in particular, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and the entire Midwest with thousands of migrants from the most dangerous countries on earth, destroying the character of small towns and leaving local communities in anguish and in despair. Pennsylvania is not going to take it anymore. I don't think you're going to take it anymore. I don't think so.
These lies can be as cartoonish as claiming VP Harris is using an app to communicate with and coordinate the infiltration of cartels into the country. And there's not one whistleblower, no app creator, no government official showing the country any proof of this coordination. They'll take something like the CBP-1 app and issues that it has and turn it into a conspiratorial narrative that has Harris directing cartel members of which neighborhoods to come attack. It's why Trump says things like, think about it, before he launches into a wild accusation. Because the only way for it to exist is for them to sit and imagine it. If they cared about the issues, they'd work to fix them. But that would eliminate some good old-fashioned fear-mongering about every black or brown person that's in the country.
Sir, they don't commit crimes like us. No. They make our criminals look like babies. These are stone-cold killers. They'll walk into your kitchen, they'll cut your throat. She's letting in people who are going to walk into your house, break into your door, and they'll do anything they want. They'll do anything they want. These people are animals. She's released people. These people are animals. Now they'll say, oh, that's a terrible thing for him to say. No. These people are animals. These are stone cold killers. They're heartless, and they wake up the next morning and they don't even think about what they did the day before. These are real killers. These are real killers. These are the worst. These are people that have been in jail for many years. These are people that killed many people. They're terrorists. They're terrorists. They're terrorists at the highest level. We have some of the greatest terrorists in the world in our country right now. We have no idea where they are. We have no idea anything about them. They could be in Iowa. They could be in Idaho. They could be here.
It's because that's the objective, to generate so much fear and anger among supporters that they believe they're going to die unless the guy that's telling the scary stories is elected, to then do nothing about it. Remember what he said about allowing migrant workers to come in and work so that American employers can build their wealth off of their backs? This right after talking about how dangerous they are.
Basically, we're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to get the energy prices down almost immediately, and we're going to close the border, and we're going to get the crooked ones out, the bad ones out, and we're going to let a lot of people come in, because we need more people, especially with AI coming and all of the different things, and the farmers need, everybody needs.
So as long as he needs their labor, they're not animals, terrorists, or rapists looking to slit your throat in your kitchen. They're just part of his plan to maximize the bottom line. But trust him, he'll be able to identify who the bad guys are, because he's convinced supporters that he's highly insightful. So now that MAGA is scared of anyone that he's deemed the other, they'll trust his clairvoyant aggression to allow police to crack some skulls in the streets.
You see these guys walking out with air conditioners, with refrigerators on their back, the craziest thing, and the police aren't allowed to do their job. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately. You know, it'll end immediately.
Are we paying attention? Only he can protect you. Only he knows which people are bad people. He's your retribution against your common enemies. And the solution is widespread violence from law enforcement officers that he directs to do his bidding.
We're going to rebuild our cities. We're going to bring them back like they used to be. And we're going to make them safe places again. We're going to give our police their power back, and we're going to give them immunity from prosecution, so they're not prosecuted for doing their job. The local police are great. They're just not allowed to do their job. They're afraid of losing their pension. They're afraid of losing their wife or husband. They're going to lose their house. They're losing everything. And one of the things I'm doing is giving local police immunity from prosecution. They get prosecuted. When they do their job, they get like your soldiers. We're going to give back our law enforcement. We're going to give them back the respect that they deserve. They are being treated so badly. If they do something that's harsh to stop a crime, they end up losing their pension, they end up losing their job, they end up losing their family and their home. And I'm giving immunity to police all over the country.
All this talk about unleashing cops on society, virtually creating a police state under his control, where he thinks a fear of being murdered in the street with no consequence creates a stable society. It's the ravings of a violent fascist whose main objective, ironically, is to evade consequences for his commitment to breaking the law.
No, this is a radical left lunatic we're dealing with. By the way, if she wins, it's not going to be so pleasant for me, but I don't care. I really don't care.